is that when you give money away, it always comes back. Always, always, always. So right now, I fund DestiniRescue.org. I fund the Philippine chapter. So it takes money to organize a raid, and it takes money to take care of the girls. So when you take a seminar with me, you help get rid of child prostitution. So that with the generous amount of money that I made today from you guys showing up, this is what happens. Okay? So we get rid of 10 pimps. We put in jail 40 child molesters, and we saved 96 girls. Okay, one thing that's really important, you have to look for what stands the test of time. So in the gym industry, you've got what I call circus training. It doesn't do shit, like to squat on a Swiss ball. You're not going to get to be good. So regular barbell squats have worked for a long time. They have been the cornerstone of the training of all the Olympic athletes I've coached, but I don't do these gimmicks. This is really bad for your ACLs. You're going to do a damage to your knees if you do so, okay? So this is my colleague and friend, Dmitry Klokov. So he's got about 295 kilos there. And then he squats very, very slowly. He pauses at the bottom. He's trying to leave a stain on the floor. And then he gets up, okay? So in training, you got to look what, or anything in life, what has worked for many centuries. That's more important, okay? And then, so new and fancy does not mean better. So I could do something different today. I could wear my underwear over my jeans. You're all gonna laugh. Is it fun? Yeah, it's fun for you. It's uncomfortable for me, right? But it's new. But that's sometimes, especially in the fitness industry, people try to do gimmicks. Gimmicks don't work. They don't last very long. It's important that you make friends with people that are going to help you out. People have the same goals as you, but they are more influential. So I was very fortunate to work for Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss, as you know, is one of the most popular podcasts in the world, but he hired me to review this book. So he would write things, and I would say, no, this is not scientific, it's bullshit. So I would show him. So I was responsible for editing the content, scientific content towards exercise and diet in Tim Ferriss' books. Luckily for me, he published The Tools of the Titans. I'm the only person with Arnold Schwarzenegger to have been on his podcast 3 times. My first podcast downloaded the first year 1 million copies, and we still download 50,000 copies per month. But what did that book do? A nice compliment that Tim paid me is that you have more one-liners than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay? But the interesting thing, when I was a kid, I idolized Schwarzenegger. 2 years ago, I went to Schwarzenegger's birth house in Graz in Austria. And like I'm a tourist, I'm just looking at how Schwarzenegger lived. And then the lady says, "Are you Charles Poliquin?" I'm like, "Yes." "Oh, Mr. Schwarzenegger wants you to sign a copy of the book." I'm like, wow, that's good. And then she said, "What's your address? Mr. Schwarzenegger will sign you a copy." So one book, another book, and my success went up. So I was ranked 170,000 in the world out of 9 billion websites, and then I went to 50,000 in the world. Okay, so that all helps. But I was in Amsterdam, and Wim Hof, who's an expert on pain tolerance, and he's the guy who likes to freeze his balls for a living. He found out I was in Amsterdam, and he asked to meet me. But he's also in the book. So success breeds success. And then it led to meeting Joe Polish, Ben Hardy, which is very good because, you get into an inner circle of successful people. So I was very successful as a strength coach, but now more successful as an author and as someone who gives good opinion. So Ben Hardy wrote the book, Willpower Does Not Work. I would say if there's a book you should buy, it's probably translated in Italian in a few months because it's already a bestseller in the US. It basically tells you that willpower is a myth. It's the environment that dictates the willpower. So you have to set yourself up to have willpower. If you have a problem with carbs, don't buy them. Fill your fridge with good things. So if you want to lose body fat, and that's one of your goals, you have to set up the environment for it. Principle number 9 is being prolific is more important than being perfect. When you seek perfection all the time, you can't do a lot of work. Okay? So you have to publish a lot. Okay? That's one of the best ways to get well known. Now, here's a tip. There are internet marketing experts. Okay? They're not very good. This is very good advice. If you want to be recognized in the world, when you write an article, it has to be 2,500 words. You could add 30% if you want to publish in Italian, but in English, it's 2,500 words. What people say, and it's not true, is that the word content should be 500 words to 600 words. It is true that if you write 500 to 600 words, you get more clicks. More people see it. But the important thing you need to know is that the person that is going to buy from you has the endurance to read 2,500 words. So by having 2,500 words in an article, you select the high quality people that are going to buy from you. So it's counterintuitive, but it works. So I told my staff, put 2,000 more words in every article I wrote. Okay? A good principle is to introduce, if you want to be successful, 2 people to each other per day. So in your list of objectives, you should aim at introducing 2 people per day. What does it do is that when people will need you, they'll think of you. Okay? So it's very important to encourage building a network, and the best way to get a big network of following, which will help you fill up your wallet, is to have more friends. Another thing is that knowledge that is not applied is worthless. So if you take seminars but you don't take action, you're not going to get it. Don't take advice from a virgin sex therapist. If the guy never got laid, how can he tell you how to get laid, right? Or how to perform? In the fitness world, we have a lot of guys that hide behind keyboards that look like this. I've seen bigger arms on a chair. So get this, it will change your life. In everything you do, it is very important that you find the best people. Usually, they cost more, but not always. I'll give you an example. This is Jason Fleeland. I spent $170,000 trying to improve my visibility on the web. He charged me $5,000, and he did more than the people that paid $170,000, far more. Okay? He's a real expert. So always go for the top and find the best people to do your thing. Here's another principle from Bernardi. Once you've paid the bill, ask the person you wrote the check to, what can I do for you? What's the psychology behind this? The psychology is the person will never hear that, and automatically the quality of the service you will get will be far better. Okay? It's very rare that you pay somebody and you offer your help, right? Or you get paid and somebody offers extra help. But that's a good policy to have every day. So I have a new gym coming out August 1st. I had to get rubber on the floor. I wrote the check, and the first thing I asked the manufacturer, how can I help you? And it was a shock. But you can be sure that he's going to do a very good job at laying the rubber on my gym. So this is just to preempt the mind of the person you hire. Your habits dictate your life. If you want to be successful in life, you need to have strict habits. A lot of people behave randomly, okay? It's very important that you have rituals every day. You look at anybody successful, and if you read the book, Tools of the Titans, it's translated in Italian, you will find everybody in that book is very successful. They're billionaires, athletes, researchers. They all have habits. Now, so you'll need to answer me. Raise your hand if you think this is true. Do you need confidence to win? Raise your hand if you think this is true. Raise your hand. So do you agree? It's wrong. You need winning to build confidence. Okay? So when I coach athletes, I make them win every day. So there's a principle, and there's videos on that, is do your bed every morning. So you start always the day with a first win. So you keep your room tidy. It's important that you always start the day with something that is a small win, and then try to win more as the day goes by. So if we look at this is from Bernardi's thing, is that first thing, you need to go on a social media diet. You can waste a lot of time on social media. Most of my social media is done by my staff. Or I'll do social media in the cab on the way to the airport. I do social media always when I have downtime. You do it twice a day, 15 minutes max. Okay? And then don't overload your feed by saying, oh, I'm having coffee right now at Starbucks. Who gives a fuck? Okay? So when you post something that is significant that will enrich someone's life. Or yesterday I went to a good gym, I liked it, I posted it, I had 2,000 friend requests from Italians, but keep it short. Number 2, learn how to meditate. I would say one of the most significant things I've done as an adult is to learn how to meditate. If you meditate twice a day, you can actually sleep 2 hours less, okay? Because your brain learns how to shut off. I fly a lot, so I always meditate as soon as I get on the plane. I can turn off sound. I can meditate at the shooting range. Guns go off, I can meditate. You have to train your mind to think of nothing, which is a lot easier for men. All men can think of nothing. We're born like that. Now you ask a woman to think of nothing, it's impossible, right? It's haywire. But females will benefit greatly from meditation because they need to learn to turn off the brain. And the first thing is, that's the most important habit, is you plan your day every day. Okay? Planning your day. So the amount of work doesn't matter, it's the amount of quality work. I know in Italy, people push for training volume. More. All the Olympic athletes I've coached, they do 4 hours of training a week. Not more. With the strength. But they're happy I let them go away after an hour. Okay? I like to work intense, focused, get the job done, get out. So write this down. If you can train longer than 1 hour, you're making friends. You're not training. Okay? So quality is always better than quantity. Work on your strengths, higher your weaknesses. It's very important that you only do the things you enjoy to do. Dave Asprey, the founder of Bulletproof Coffee, has become a friend, and I said, can I hire you for a brain-picking fee? He said, sure. So I called him at home, and the first question he asked me was, do you fold your socks? That's a strange question. Yes? He goes, well, you're wasting your time. So the next day I hired somebody to fold my socks, do my groceries. So all the things that need to be done, I don't do them anymore. So I delegate. That comes from Strength Finders. That's a very good book. I highly recommend. So you use your unique abilities and you pay people less than you to do the things you hate. I hate accounting. It bores me to death. Am I smart enough to do accounting? Yes. Do I enjoy it? No. I actually hate it. So I hire staff to do that. I have two full-time accountants. My unique ability is making people stronger, faster, more flexible in the least amount of time. So one of the things I've developed is kinetic chain. So kinetic chain is a way to increase flexibility very fast. I don't have time to train people. Most Olympic athletes I've trained only have 11 weeks a year to train. So all these medalists, I didn't train them much. Sometimes 8 weeks. Only bobsleigh I've trained for 8 months a year. So this is demonstration I'm doing in Australia, and I have somebody who's really tight. So I asked the class, who's the tightest man in the room? So my assistant, Juan Carlos, from the Dominican Republic, will test his flexibility. The guy is about as flexible as a crowbar. So he puts him in a stretch. So notice how tight he is, right? It's terrible. And then he's going to test how he can move laterally. So Michael Owen, soccer player, he didn't play for 18 months. When I tested him on that test, he could only move 15 centimeters. That's after 18 months of physio. So the physios were not very good. So Newcastle had me come in and test him, and I treated him. Immediately, he scored 5 goals in 3 games. Okay. But I told the manager, I need to be here every 25 days because it's very fragile. They fired the general manager day 20. Day 26, he was injured again, never played. So I use a technique called gua sha. It's from China. And I invented the system where I do it on special points on his face. And what I'm doing is I'm releasing the fascia in his face. You're going to say, what's the relationship between fascia in the face and fascia in the ass and hamstrings? Well, you'll see. So that's Klokov who's laughing. He posted it on YouTube. We had 2 million views in 24 hours. Now, this only took 15 seconds. In physiotherapy, that would take you 12 weeks. Okay? So it's very fast. This is called kinetic chain. The next time I'm teaching in Europe is in Estonia in September.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
So that's my unique ability. So when I teach, I teach things like that, how to save time. Okay. The only thing that's common between you, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Mother Teresa, myself, we only have each 24 hours a day. So how you use your 24 hours a day is very important. The general that can sleep wins the war. Sleep, people say it's for the weak. I don't believe in that. Sleep is very important. Napoleon was known to nap before the battle. Alexander the Great, Churchill. Okay. So the best way to sleep, and it's based on research, is 7.5 hours at night and 90 minutes during the day. So the siesta is very good for you. It allows your brain to function much better. So here's a success principle. If you don't have any haters, you're not standing for anything. Vegans hate me, okay? So I'll show you how to confuse them. So he goes on a vegan diet, eats 3 vegans a day, he feels fabulous. Now, this is something interesting. Write down your notes, don't type. I see some people using computers. It's not smart. What the research shows is that when you write, not type, you retain 2.5 times faster. So for my agenda, I have a software. I write what I need to do. I take a picture. The page goes to my computer. That's my agenda. So then I can tick off the boxes, right? And that has been found to be very useful. Let's talk about cardio. Cardio is very bad for you. Cardio makes your brain age prematurely. There's very good work out of Finland that shows that the more kilometers you've done in your life, the faster your brain ages. And it's not even good for fat loss. Look at a marathon runner. They do a lot of kilometers. The average body fat is 15 to 17%. 400-meter runners, the average body fat is 6%. Why? Because high-intensity intervals is better than long-distance cardio. Okay? So there's 3 reasons not to do cardio. So the return on investment is very poor, but what you should know is that the best predictor of how old you're going to live is actually muscle mass. So people with a lot of muscle mass live very long. It's not cholesterol, it's not blood pressure. The second best one is muscle strength. So mass and strength will predict how long you're going to live, but also the quality of it. Okay? One of the problems with long, slow-distance cardio is that it changes your ability to recruit the muscles fast. So if you're an athlete and you want to do well, long-distance cardio will kill you. So it's better that you do interval training. And long-distance cardiovascular training causes hormonal mayhem, meaning that it changes your hormones very poorly. For example, in women, if you do long-distance cardiovascular training, you're going to be more likely to develop osteopenia, so degenerations of the skeleton, than people who are from sports where they have load. Okay? So we have time for questions. So if you want more information, you can go to strengthsensei.com. I also have the Dojo of Strength, which is a private membership site, but it's closed. I only open up 3 times a year for membership. But because of Frank, if you contact her, just put "I want to learn more to earn more." She'll know it's the code, and then you can get 25% off all my classes, and you can get into the Strength Dojo. But you have till Wednesday to do it. So I reward people who take action. Okay? So now I will answer. Thank you.